Hi, I'm Charlie DeTata from the Wanderers, and we're having another cooking show with Coastline. And of course, with me is Kim Ferreira, our head dietitian.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
And of course, we miss Edith today. She's somewhere. Couldn't quite make it today. But with me is a guest also. And
hi, thank you, Charlie. Kim. My name is Terry Larson, and I'm the COO for Coastline Alley Services, and I've been there for over 11 years. And my job is to make sure that the operations of the agency run smoothly. So I'm honored to be here today to be able to help, because this is quite interesting for me because I don't cook. See, my husband's the chef, so this will be good to take orders. I'm usually the cleanup crew.
you know, actually, we should shake hands because I don't do any cooking home either.
Oh, we got a lot in common,
My
Charlie.
wife does, yes, okay.
There's a lot in common.
I guess my husband should then replace me since he doesn't do any of the cooking either.
And I don't do dishes either.
That's right.
Oh, I'm going to start working on that, Charlie.
But, Kim, what do we got on tap today?
Well, today we are going to make a salad that's from a vegetable that a lot of people in the area are familiar with, kale. Kale,
wow.
We are using kale. However, most viewers, and I'm sure both of you are used to having kale cooked, predominantly in soups, or maybe you saute it and you have it as a side dish. But today we are actually going to have it raw. So we are going to spice it up a little bit by having it in a different way that I think most people are used to. We are going to make a kale and feta salad. And I have to tell you, a couple years ago I ran across this in a magazine. Different people in the area were talking about items that were their favorite dishes for Thanksgiving. And I came across this. And I've done it several times when I do some nutrition education. And they've absolutely loved it. It's really easy, and so we're going to show you that today. The toughest and I think the most time-consuming part of it is the prepping of the kale. This recipe calls for Tuscan kale, and I have to be honest, there's so many different types of kales, and when you go to the store, I didn't grow up on kale, so I've seen the flat leaf kale and this curly stuff. So for this recipe, I've been using this. It's much more tender than that flat leaf kale. So you want to make sure that you get the right kale that has kind of this curliness to it. I believe this is the Tuscan kale, but I have to be honest, this is just what works for me. And I haven't really noticed them label it as Tuscan. So it's a lot more tender though than some of the other kales, and that's the important piece. When you're washing this, it is important that you take enough time to wash every single leaf, especially with the curly kale, because you really want to get in those fine creases and make sure you're cleaning it off good. And then what I find is if you rip it the opposite way, because you don't want the stalk in. So for anybody who is new with cooking with kale, you don't want to cook, or you don't want the salad with that inner stem. So you really want to pull all the leaves off. And I find if you rip it in the opposite way, it comes right off. A device that may be very useful for you is a salad spinner. Instead of blotting this with endless paper towels, I find it's a lot easier to just throw in the ripped kale in the salad spinner and give it a couple pumps. This is really nice, and it will get all of the water out for you, so you don't have to sit here and waste all these paper towels. So
there you go.
Charlie, I hope that your arms are ready to chop, because the key with this recipe is making sure that the kale is finely chopped, because it is a little bit rougher and a little bit more coarse than spinach. Spinach we can throw on in and we can eat the leaves, and it's really easy to chew. This can be a little bit chewy and a little rough if we don't chop it fine enough. Okay. So your job for the day is to do lots of chopping. However, I'm asking Terry to do the onion, so I think it's a good trade-off, right?
Yes.
Did you talk to Kim before I came? What position you took?
But a kale soup. I remember when I was first married. Of course, I married a Portuguese girl, and kale soup is, you know,
Very traditional.
the menu. And she said, do you like it? And I did. I said, I can stand it once a month. And that's what she did. She used to make it once a month for me.
Nice.
Well, that's pretty good because I'm fortunate. I was brought up with kale soup, and kale
Well-
soup was like 3 to 4 days.
That's right. You know, and it amounts to the same thing in the Italian tradition, is that they'll make a sauce that might last a week. I know in the restaurant business, my mother used to make it. It lasted a week. And the longer it stayed in the refrigerator, the thicker it got.
Yeah.
And the better it got, really.
Right. It's more
Say.
flavor
But
because it's sitting here.
kale soup, once a month, I could
Oh,
stand.
you were good.
That's why I thought it would be great to kind
So-
of do something a little outside of the box. And like Charlie said, what's also great about this recipe is as the dressing on it, you know, saturates into the kale, you know, you can have this in the refrigerator for a couple days and it's only going to taste better because it's going to break down that tenderness of the leaf. So, you know, you make it today, you can even let it sit for a little bit so the flavors marinate together. So Charlie is going to be chopping that kale up really nice and fine. And so with Terry and I are going to be making the dressing. And what the dressing is going to call for is some shallots. For those of you who are not as familiar with shallots, shallots are kind of in between a garlic and an onion. They have a nice like rosy pink outside to it, much smaller than, you know, onions, bigger than a garlic. They can be a little bit pricier, so you can very, very easily just throw in a clove of garlic and any of your favorite onions. You could throw in a red onion or a sweet onion as a substitute. It's not a big deal. Shallot is a great substitute for garlic or onion because it's kind of in between in terms of the flavors. So we brought a shallot today just so you guys could see what it looked like, but again, make it your own. If you are not into onions and you'd rather have the garlic, by all means just throw in the garlic. So Terry is going to be throwing those in.
This small enough, like I said, I'm not.
It's perfect. I think that you have definitely been watching your husband
Yeah,
cook
holding my
because
fingers this way.
you look like a pro.
I don't know. I don't want to learn too
to
much because I'm going to lose my passion. If I learn too much.
Yeah, make sure your husband's not watching this,
Yeah.
right? So let's throw in the
How many
shallots.
spoons do you want?
That's great. That's perfect.
Just remember, keep that thumb tucked in behind
I know.
so that you don't catch it.
Perfect.
I learned that a long time ago,
So
working for my father.
this is going to be like a lemony type of dressing. So the next is we are just going to quarter up some lemons and we're just going to squeeze some fresh lemon juice. So if you quarter those up, I'll squeeze those in. Yeah, we're going to want to make sure that we don't get the seeds in there.
I always get in trouble at home for not picking the seeds out.
So do you help, you know, prep any of the food for your husband?
No, because he's very fussy. He likes to cook on his own.
You and I would get along very good.
Yeah, you know, he likes to cook on his own, and so I just leave him alone.
Nice. Very
Good.
nice.
That sounds good.
Doesn't it sound good, Charlie?
Oh, yes.
I come back for dinner.
Yeah, very nice. Yep, so we're just going to squeeze some lemons in here. Nice fresh lemon juice. Again, if you're not into doing this step, you can buy the already, you know, prepared lemon juice, lemon concentrate in the container. I think that, you know, using fresh lemons gives it a little bit more of that, you know, fresh taste. But again, if you don't have any other use for lemons, for me, I like to take leftover lemons and I like to squeeze it in for, you know, and let it infuse in my water because sometimes I get sick of just drinking the plain old water. So if a recipe calls for maybe half of a lemon, that's good. I like to use the other half for things like water. So we have our shallots, we have our lemon. The next thing is a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. So
Do you want me to put?
I just put a dash. I just use there you go. Perfect. And again, I like to use the kosher salt because a lot of us, we are watching our sodium intake, and salt obviously is a huge component. You know, salt is sodium chloride, so naturally there's going to be a lot of sodium in salt. I like kosher salt because the grain is a little bit bigger. So per tablespoon or teaspoon, whatever, it's not going to have as much sodium in it. And so kosher salt can have sometimes almost half of the amount of sodium as regular salt. So I love to have kosher salt. And what's nice is $2 for a big container that should last you years.
Well, my husband uses the same thing.
Does he?
I'm a sodium. I like sodium, but he's always like, be careful on it.
And then we're going to add a little bit of black pepper. Again, I like to buy the black pepper that's the built-in grinder because it really gives it that fresh black pepper taste. So our dressing is right now just some lemon, some onion, a little bit of salt and pepper, and last but not least, what makes a dressing? Oil. So Terry, if we could have 3 tablespoons of oil. And I'm sorry, Charlie, I haven't meant to neglect you. How are you doing with the chopping?
Great.
Beautiful. That looks
okay.
fantastic.
You're doing good for
a great
those
job.
kales.
I'm listening.
Because you only had kales once a month.
Yeah, you're getting it nice and fine.
Oh, of course.
Wow, that looks
You know,
fantastic.
it's interesting they said about that different kale because I've never, I've always had the flat kale, for the
Well,
kale
yeah,
soup.
this looks a little different than what
Yeah.
we normally, the big leaves and that kind of stuff.
That was actually the only type of kale in the store. So I was
Really?
going to bring
Wow.
in some different kale, but, and it's also seasonal.
Yeah.
What's fantastic about kale is in terms of the nutrients, kale contains an antioxidant called lutein. And lutein is one of the few antioxidants that is especially important for our eyes. So, especially for the aging population, cataracts and macular degeneration are extremely common and are a big health concern for, the 60 and older. Kale and spinach, those types of items contain this extremely rich antioxidants that help to keep our eyes strong. Kale also is in that food group that does contain a little bit of calcium. We just think of dairy as calcium, but kale provides a source. Not a lot. I mean, you'd have to be eating 16, 17 cups to equal the amount of what milk would provide, but nonetheless, when you add these, incorporating these items throughout the day, it all adds up. So we have our ingredients in here for our dressing, and all we're going to do is we're just going to whisk it together. And you know that you're at the right consistency because it will thicken up for you. You wanna?
Sure.
Oh yeah, I think you're getting inspired here, huh?
I'm getting inspired, but my husband don't get any hopes, honey.
We're gonna add. I know we added a lot of lemon.
Yeah.
Let's add just a little bit more oil. Beautiful.
It's starting to get a little thicker now.
Perfect.
I don't know if anybody can see this. Can't really see it.
And if you make too much of it, very easily pop that into the refrigerator, and that will keep for a good couple weeks. You could also then take that dressing and add some other vinegars to it. I love to add that and keep them into the refrigerator because, it's all the ingredients that you put in it. There's no additives or anything like that. So, good. I think we're good. Charlie, I think we're good. I think
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
All right, I think.
And I'm listening. And,
are you tired yet? Are you tired yet?
No, this is nothing.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we are time to combine all the ingredients. The nice ingredient that's going to tie this all together is feta cheese. Again, we use a tiny bit of salt just for the dressing, but where we're going to get a lot of the flavor is from feta cheese. And I know a lot of people are saying cheese has sodium in it, cheese has a lot of fat in it. Feta cheese is nice because it's a soft cheese. And out of all the cheeses, beautiful! Out of all the cheeses, the softer the cheese, that means there's a little bit more moisture. So there's not as much fat compared to like a hard-aged cheddar. So feta is a really nice way to get, again, that little saltiness for the salad, the flavor. You're gonna have some fat in it, but definitely not as much as if you were using the cheddar. So we're gonna throw in the feta cheese, and then we're gonna throw in that beautiful dressing.
Whoa.
Yep. And I'm gonna sneak around you.
I didn't get a chance to see what you were actually doing, but wow.
I know you were hard at work.
Sure, yeah. But you can smell a little bit of it.
Smell?
See the lemon.
Want to taste?
Yes, I'm going to taste it later.
So
Oh
next,
yeah, that's
we're
going to go
just
with my fish.
very nice. So we're just gonna mix this all together. And it makes quite a bit. Buying one bunch of kale may cost you a couple dollars. And as you see, it's filling this whole bowl up. So it makes quite a bit for you. So this is great if you're having a party. This is a great side dish. This is great. You know, I got to be honest, I'm not a big breakfast person when it comes to sweetness, so this is something I love to eat for breakfast, and it's a great way to already get some of your vegetables in. It's that non-traditional breakfast. You know, I'm not into eating things that are sweet. I think years of eating cereal, so I gravitate towards something like this for breakfast.
Maybe in an omelet I would
Yeah.
like it.
But that's another great idea.
I don't know. Kales for breakfast.
Because I know.
Yeah?
I don't know. About
This would be fantastic. Actually, just like this, throwing it in an omelet. You'd want to saute this a little bit, just to, again, get the kale a little bit tender for you. But, oh, that's a great idea.
I was thinking, I love spinach omelets, you know, spinach omelets, so maybe, you know.
Maybe you could switch to kale, huh?
No, we'll have to think about that, Charlie.
You'll want to, I guess
But-
you're going to want to try this first, right?
But you know, the fact that you point that out, and it's good for you.
Yeah.
And we have to remember that. And that's why we put these shows on. We don't do all these bacon stuff. We do diet. And people watch it because of that.
That's
And
really
we want to
good.
keep people watching.
Right.
That's very interesting.
This is great. You know, remember, the dressing is made out of our oils, so that's going to provide us with our healthy type of fat. The kale is very low in calories, so, you know, you are having a dish that, you know, has a little bit of fat from the oil, but it's a healthy fat, and that's when you can pair it with a nice lean protein. You can then pair it with a nice lean starch. So in terms of heart health, very heart health friendly, relatively minimal carbohydrates for those people with diabetes. So it's another great dish to balance your starches with. So are you guys ready to try
Yeah, I
it?
think I'm going to
Well,
tell my mom to
that's
start
very-
using kales in a different way.
That's right, and that's very interesting to me because I'm diabetic, and I didn't realize that kale, maybe I should have it 2 times a month.
I think you should
Yeah.
increase the kale soup. I don't know, now that it's cooked, if it changes.
Does it change when you cook
You
it?
cook the kale.
In terms of the nutrition?
Yeah.
No, the nutrition is right there. Especially, you know, especially if it's in a soup, then that heat that's applied, that moisture that comes out of that kale, it's already going into the liquid in the soup, so you're fine. You don't want to boil this for like
Right.
10 minutes because that green water, you're leaching all that vitamin C out of it. So, but having it raw, again, kind of mixes it up. So if you buy that big bunch of kale, I mean, you see how much it makes. And if it's just you or you and someone else, then maybe you use half of it for a soup, and then you have half of it, then you can have for this raw salad.
That's that is very interesting.
This would be great. You could throw some tuna on it. You could throw some chicken on it. So you
Shrimp,
could almost
maybe?
make
Shrimp,
shrimp.
maybe scallops,
Yep,
chop them up.
Yep.
Nice chicken breast grilled.
Yep, absolutely.
No.
You can make.
We're getting creative,
Yeah,
Sally.
you can
Well,
make.
that's
Listen,
the idea
kale is
of
starting
it.
to look good.
Yeah, good.
I know, it
You're
is.
really starting to see so much information about kale. I mean, when research talks about vegetables, kale is on the top of the list because it's just so high in all of those
Never
vitamins
realized
and
that.
minerals and antioxidants.
Wow.
And what's great is this is a vegetable that people are really familiar with in the area.
Right.
So I thought it'd be great to show it in a slightly different
Slightly
way.
different way,
So
yeah.
are you feeling adventurous to try
Yes,
it?
I'm
Good.
excited
Yes,
to try
Good.
it.
Thank you so much for helping, Terry.
And you know, in the area, a lot of people, you know, they grow their own kales.
Yep.
So, you know, they have a lot of it in the summertime.
Kale is great to grow, and to pick it fresh right out of your house, and then to make this nice salad. You know, what would beat that? That would just be great.
Well, do I dare?
Yes.
I-
And you know,
you-
if there's not enough dressing on it, you add a little bit more dressing. So you'll let me know.
Now that's different.
It is. Doesn't taste like a kale soup, does it?
No?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Mm.
I actually like this. I'm gonna have to
get my wife to watch this show.
I'm gonna have to get the recipe to my husband.
Well, and it may taste a little bit better because you helped to make it. But how
Oh,
easy is that? Very,
It is.
very easy to make. Extremely healthy, which what we're talking about, and really suitable for anyone despite any type of, you know, medical history or medical condition or any type of dietary restrictions. If you are on Coumadin or blood thinners, then it's all in moderation. It's all in quantity. But you can most certainly enjoy something like this in moderation and enjoy. I hope that you make this at home. Thank you very much for watching.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
But You know, I'm just gonna pause a minute. When we watched our show the last time, there was something missing, really.
Okay.
And what I want to do, Kim, is I want to present you because we want you to be part of the Wanderers.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I realized that you wanted to wear Coastline elderly services, but today I want to honor you.
Oh, thank you,
With
Charlie.
an apron.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. You're official.
I'm official.
Now you're an official Wanderer, and it will be here for you. We'll tuck it away in one of the drawers. And so when we do our next show, you have one that
Great.
just matches me.
Well, green is my favorite color, and it matches our salad today.
Right.
So,
That's true.
It is.
how perfect.
And when,
Thank you.
and when Edith comes back, she has one too.
I think that's very nice.
Isn't that great?
That is nice.
Thank you
Kim.
very much.
Thank you. That,
Congratulations.
wow.
That was wow. You know, I was just thinking now that the warm weather's coming, how fresh this is. It's not
Right.
heavy. It's
Yep.
kind of
That's
cool.
right.
It's a nice, like, you know, spring, summer kind of salad.
Right.
And I always talk with my hands. But the one thing I've learned in these shows is that we learn something different and new. And I think people see the same thing we do. And that's why they turn on to it and watch us. So thank you again.
Thank you for having
And
me. It was a
thank
pleasure.
you for coming.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome anytime.
Thank you.
You know, we can set up 4 mics if we have to.
Thank you.
But I appreciate having Phil join us, and I appreciate you joining.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Kim, thank
Yes.
you.
Thank
And
you,
wear
Charlie.
that with honor.
I will wear this with honors. I am
Okay. Thank you.
truly excited to
Don't
have
get
this.
anything on it now.
Yeah. Ooh, I
Thank you.
can't promise that. I'm
Notice
very
you
much.
do after the
Yeah, I
cookie
know.
show.
That was actually a good idea. Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed our menu today. I know I did.
Thank you
So?
very much. Please join us again for next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.